Hi, it's great to meet you. So I've been wanting to meet with a psychic for quite some time so I could learn about my future, and I just want to know, what kind of psychic practices do you do? Hi, I'm so happy that you were able to meet with me. I do a variety of readings, including telepathy, palm readings, cold readings, hot readings, and yeah, it just helps me better understand, what's going on in your future and connect with your mind and stuff. So I've had profound experiences, psychic experiences that changed my life forever. The overwhelming feeling of just connection I felt proves that these abilities are real and can only be explained through psychic techniques. I feel like anybody who denies that is just closed-minded and afraid of the truth. So this argument is an example of emotive language because it uses persuasion rather than evidence to appeal to emotion rather than reasoning. It also demonstrates confirmation bias, which is a person's tendency to process information by interpreting it based on information that already supports their existing beliefs while dismissing those that don't. So in this example, the use of the word only is an example of doublespeak, where you add a certain small word to avoid commitment when speaking. And in the example, the psychic uses her pre-existing psychic experiences, to support the idea that they do exist. Interesting. Yeah, I've heard a lot of things of people who don't believe in psychics, and I just want to know, why do you think that is? Skeptics say psychic abilities aren't real because they can't be proven in the lab. But psychic abilities don't work when people are being negative or skeptical. So the negative energy just completely blocks the power. In this argument, this is an example of the special pleading fallacy, which is when you create an excuse to explain away evidence that contradicts your claim. So in this scenario, if psychic powers only work when they're not tested, then there's no way of verifying that they're real, and this creates an unfalsifiable claim, which is therefore unscientific. Yeah, I see what you mean. I feel like there should be some way of proving them to work though. But anyways, can you tell me a little bit about the history of psychic powers and your stance on how that has affected psychic abilities today? Absolutely. So psychic powers have been believed by many ancient civilizations. Our ancestors, yours and mine, were way more in tune with the spiritual world than we are today, and modern science has just made us lose touch with these natural abilities. This is an invalid argument showing the appeal to nature fallacy. This is a fallacy when someone assumes that something is either good or bad simply because it's natural or unnatural. In this scenario, something being ancient or natural does not automatically make it true or better. If anything, many of the things our ancestors or past civilizations have claimed to be true have been debunked by modern science. Wow, I've never thought about how my past generations could have possibly had psychic abilities. That's interesting. I'm wondering how credible the world of psychic techniques really is. I hope you don't take offense to that. I've heard a lot of experiences involving fraud, so that's kind of why I'm asking. But do you have what is your established credibility, or do you know if it's common for other psychics to have credibility? None taken. I personally began the psychic route through an online class that I took, but I do have a friend, Dr. Parker Williams, who has a PhD in physics, and he believes in psychic abilities. So because he's a scientist, it's only right that his opinions prove that our powers are real. This is the appeal to authority fallacy, meaning that someone claims something is true simply because an authoritative figure says that it is. And in this scenario, even though Dr. Williams is a qualified physicist, this doesn't mean that his expertise in that area makes him an expertise also in psychic abilities and techniques. I see. I guess if you have experience through taking the online class, I can consider you an expert, but do you mind sharing a little bit about what got you into becoming a psychic, perhaps any other personal experience, or anecdotes or something like that? Yeah, so it began when my grandma predicted my sister's injury. She ended up getting into a car accident and being induced into a 3-week coma. And from then on, I knew that that was definitely psychic ability. Like, there's just no other possible explanation for how she could have known that would have happened. So this is an example of the appeal to ignorance fallacy, when someone argues that a claim has to be true simply because there's no other evidence against it. So just because we can't immediately explain how something happened does not mean that it was due to psychic powers. Wow, that is remarkable that she could have predicted early on what happened to your sister. I feel like I've definitely heard other people's experiences similar to yours. Do you know if this is like a common occurrence amongst people? Yes, thousands of people throughout history have reported having psychic experiences, and it just makes you think, like, how can all of these people be wrong? That number alone just goes to prove that psychic powers are real. In this example, we see the appeal to popularity fallacy or bandwagon fallacy, which occurs when someone argues that something is true just because many people believe it to be true. In this specific scenario, just because a lot of people claim to have had psychic experiences does not mean that they are a real phenomenon. I mean, I guess I've never thought about it that way before. Well, I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much for coming. Yes, definitely. Thanks for allowing me to meet with you. I'll definitely be in touch.